Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is a brand new What If, and we're actually doing this a little bit different. Like I said before, I am bringing back story-based What Ifs, and that includes Tanjiro What Ifs, that includes Deku What Ifs, that is going to probably include future solo leveling What Ifs that I really am interested in doing. Yeah, that's all I got to say, but this is what if Tanjiro had sun breathing from the start, and this is part one. The Tanjiro What Ifs will most likely be like, I don't know, 3-4 parts depending. Of course, we all know that the story starts ramping up pretty damn quickly, especially toward the back half of the story. So probably 3 parts is where I'm sitting right now, and then you'll have the entire movie. Yeah, with that said, I'm not going to waste that much more of your time because I want to get into part 1 ASAP. Let's get it. Tanjiro Kamado was born into your standard and normal family, or at least that's what most people believed. There was something different about Tanjiro's father, something different about him in general. He was extremely powerful. He was extremely powerful. It seemed as if he was able to channel something that nobody truly knew and create a source of strength, a source of power that nobody really understood, or at least not many understood. Now, Tanjiro didn't know much about his father, the antics and the dance that he even did, the one that would channel something that would keep him warm during the very snowy nights where he would dance while being extremely sick. But in this reality, Tanjiro would actually speak more to his father about that specifically, about this dance, and about what he's able to be capable of. And it seems as if his father had a lot more than what he was leading on in terms of information. Now, there's multiple reasons why he didn't want to share this with Tanjiro, and maybe multiple reasons why he felt no need to, but one day when Tanjiro was young and his father was closer and closer to his deathbed, he would share with Tanjiro what exactly he was doing and what exactly he was capable of, and he would explain to Tanjiro a couple things, and even explain what his dance truly was, being that of the Hinokimi Kagura. Now, he would explain more and more, and even give journals to Tanjiro about what this Hinokimi Kagura truly was. And he would learn that it was something known as sun breathing. Sun breathing was a form of fighting, and it seems like a form of swordsmanship. Many did not know of this, but at the same time, those who did know were at risk, and at the end of the day, were at the front lines of fighting. And that was something that Tanjiro's father just did not want for his own son. But of course, it was never that simple in this world, and it would never be that simple in this world. So he decides on his last deathbed, when he's about to pass on, he would teach his son as much as possible, even teach him the art of swordsmanship, giving him a bit of a head start on what swordsmanship truly is. And this would give him the outlet, Tanjiro, the outlet to continue practicing being a swordsman, but also practicing these different types of breathing styles. Sun breathing had a combination of many different breathing forms, and these breathing forms would be extremely advanced, but it would all thread from something known as concentration breathing. Now, it would be extremely hard for Tanjiro to even utilize or even do something with this information. I mean, at the end of the day, it is extremely hard to utilize something of this degree, especially when he doesn't have the information he truly needs. And he would continue learning more and more about sun breathing and how to utilize it over the years, but he never truly committed to learning every last bit of it. He never committed to learning every last ounce of sun breathing. but he still knew a ton about it. And he had the journals, he had the swordsmanship skills, and he even had a sword that was left by his father. Now, time would pass on, and like I said, he would continue learning and trying to gather information on how to utilize sun breathing, but he would still help and take care of his family. And unfortunately, the dreadful day would then come. That dreadful day where he would go down the mountain, where he would go help others within a village. He would stay over the night with a grandpa-like figure, and then he would head home to see his entire family gone. His entire family would have been killed by an unknown demon to him at this moment, and his sister Nezuko would have been turned into a demon. Immediately, though, he wouldn't even think about his sister being a demon initially, or even being, well, alive initially, because he sees the blood everywhere. But he runs over to grab his things, just in case that the demon is somehow still here, or whoever did this is somehow still here, grabbing his sword and pocketing his notebook and looking around immediately, but then would realize that nobody else is currently there. There's just the smell of blood overwhelming everything around him. Tanjiro would be in complete shock, and then would realize his sister Nezuko, well, she's still alive. He would pick her up and begin running, but then out of nowhere, she would turn on him, and they would go tumbling down the nearby mountain, crashing into the snow, and he would struggle trying to get Nezuko off of him as she tries to literally kill him. Tanjiro would try to plead to Nezuko, telling her to stop, telling her to wake up and come to her senses, but nothing would work. Not one single thing. But luckily, someone would come swooping in, grabbing Nezuko and saving Tanjiro. But this person, well, is unknown to Tanjiro, but his name is Giyu Tomioka. Now, Tomioka would immediately tell Tanjiro that his sister is a demon and that she needs to be killed. But Tanjiro would refuse that action, saying that his sister will not be killed and cannot be killed, and he won't allow him to do so. And this would ensue in a fight of some sorts against Tomioka. But this fight is very lopsided. I mean, Tanjiro is decently skilled with a sword, but he hasn't gotten a full grasp on concentration breathing. He hasn't gotten a full grasp on really any of the techniques that he has. Basically, teaching yourself is extremely difficult. He's never had a true master or sensei that could help him actually put everything or two and two together. But he's still able to keep up somewhat with Tomioka to a small degree. Tomioka, thinking that he could easily defeat him, kind of takes it extremely easy on Tanjiro, but then soon realizes that Tanjiro is a very smart and a very tactical fighter, and it seems as if he's going to have to put a little bit more force to stop Tanjiro from defeating him. Now, this would lead to Tomioka obviously defeating Tanjiro, but he sees something within Tanjiro's fighting style, something he hasn't seen really ever, and it's totally a brand new type of fighting style, which would shock him to his core, because he thinks that this might be something that many people have talked about, being that of the art of sun breathing. Now, he's not 100% sure, but he sees that, and eventually Nezuko would try and save Tanjiro, and he would be completely shocked by the revelation that a demon has now gone to her senses and has literally helped her brother. This would completely throw Tomioka off, because at the end of the day, he's never seen something like this. He's never seen the fact that, well, someone or something that is turned into a demon would have senses for themselves, at least not toward humans. So this would put it in Tomioka's mind that maybe he could truly help these people, helping Nezuko and Tanjiro. So he would actually do just that, informing him of his master by the name of, well, Urokodaki, and he would tell them that he needs to go, or they need to go see Urokodaki, and everything will be explained from then on. So Tanjiro and Nezuko would set off on their journey to meet Urokodaki, but without fault, there would be some and a little bit of a couple hurdles. That starting with the fact that Nezuko is obviously not immune to the sun, and that they have to make sure that she doesn't get, burned alive. So there's a whole lapse of trying to cover her up and keep her safe from the sun's harmful rays, and they would journey all the way to Urokodaki's place. Now, this arrival of where Urokodaki currently is on this mountain would not go unmarked, because they would run into a demon that is actually devouring a human as they speak. Immediately, Tanjiro would gasp, and the temple demon would realize that this person, well, he is no demon, and he is a victim that is currently outside. But quickly, Tanjiro is able to defend himself and Nezuko very easily, actually, against the demon. And somebody is currently watching as Tanjiro fights with a style that they have not seen in a very long time. Tanjiro would circle the demon, and he would begin actually flowing in some sort of a dance-like pattern, showing off his, Hinokimi Kagura, And this would be just replicating the sort of dance that his father once did, and at the end of the day would show off kind of just pure technique. This dance obviously is adapted into a fight style, but it's not, perfect, of course, and it has to be higher tempo when fighting against a demon. But it's obvious that Tanjiro with this sword, which, by the way, this sword is a completely different metal, one that even Tanjiro never understood, is actually able to kill this demon. And Tanjiro faces down the demon, going blow for blow with him, and obviously a massively inexperienced Tanjiro still struggles quite a bit, but he's still able to go basically head to head with this demon, eventually slicing his head off and watching him disappear. Urokodaki would come out of the darkness, inviting them both inside and explaining how impressive he truly looked and how impressive he truly is, because not many people can do what he did, and not many non-demon slayers have Nichirin blades, in which this would shock Tanjiro, saying that he doesn't even know what Nichirin is, in which, of course, it would be explained exactly what Nichirin is by Urokodaki, and he would also ask how he got that sword then. And of course, he would explain that his father left it to him, but that's really neither here nor there at the end of the day. Now, he would further on ask what this fighting style he utilized was, and, well, obviously they would know that it's some sort of sun breathing. And Urokodaki would know exactly what sun breathing is, at least maybe not like exactly in terms of every last detail, but he definitely knows what sun breathing is. He's heard about it from different books and stuff like that, and he's probably even seen some other users that are either similar to sun breathing or have talked about it, and so on and so forth. So when he sees a journal detailing different forms of sun breathing, he tells him that he's definitely come here for a reason, and it all starts with this. Urokodaki tells him that normally he teaches in the breathing style of water breathing, but sun breathing is the most potent. Sun breathing is what everything is created from, and every form is created from. And if they have a journal detailing how to utilize every form and how to actually utilize the art of sun breathing, then they might as well use it. And Urokodaki tells Tanjiro that he's going to train him in not only in the art of sun breathing, but also the ability to become a demon slayer. He tells Tanjiro that this will not be easy and that this will not be some walk in the park, but to save his sister, this is what needs to be done. Of course, Tanjiro would accept, and their training would begin, and he would go through absolute hell. The training would be absolutely horrendous, but with the information given in terms of sun breathing, with his already mild experience with concentration breathing, they're able to kind of accelerate the training and also even go into some other techniques that well, he never would have had in the first place. So he would dive into maybe even the act of healing via the breathing style, and maybe even concentration breathing constant as they continue to grow over the next year or so. Tanjiro continues to learn different breathing styles and actually continues to learn to utilize them massively. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not going to learn all 12 or even go on to the 13th, which would be everything combined, but he's definitely going to be able to utilize a lot more than he ever would have utilized, obviously, in the beginning because he didn't know anything, but he definitely will be able to get down his 3 forms or so, and these first, 3 forms would be called, well, the first form is just the normal dance, and then you have the second form, clear blue sky, and then also third form, raging sun. These would be pretty basic, quote unquote. I mean, most people try to utilize and learn all of their techniques, but being that Urokodaki doesn't personally know sun breathing, and obviously Tanjiro only knows it from his book and also the utilization of the book, he's not necessarily going to be able to, learn all of them right now and all, in unison because, well, he's not learning from somebody that actually can utilize it. He's learning from somebody who can utilize breathing styles, but not utilize, well, literally sun breathing. So he's able to, learn some of these different forms or these forms of sun breathing, and they are extremely potent, and Urokodaki makes that very, very, very clear. Even so much so that Tanjiro is able to utilize and actually acquire the red blade, and this would allow him to just further his acceleration of training and also just being extremely strong. At the end of the day, he would eventually get the training with Sabito and Makomo, and obviously their spirits. But this training wouldn't even really be needed that much. He's able to best Sabito very easily, slice the boulder in half very easily, and he's able to just accelerate the whole process of training with Urokodaki massively. And that's why he's able to utilize and learn concentration breathing constant a ton earlier, and actually utilize some of these other techniques that he wouldn't have nowhere near this time of the story. Now, Tanjiro would continue on just with that little bit of training, leading off until the final selection. The final selection is explained to be a very terrifying thing, and Urokodaki tells him that this is life or death, that he needs to focus on living throughout this time, because if he doesn't, well, he just won't be able to help and save his sister. Keep that in mind the entirety of the time, and he should be alright. Tanjiro would be set off to the final selection, and when he arrives, he sees that the trees are something he hasn't seen really ever. These trees are this very bright blossom of trees, and like these cherry blossom like trees, and they are definitely beautiful, but he sees these 2 what seems to be little girls, but they're not. They're definitely adults, just smaller in size, and they begin speaking to everybody, telling them that the final selection begins here, that they will have to survive a total of 7 days or a week, and they will have to live through a demon-infested forest to prove that they have the ability to become a demon slayer. Now, Tanjiro feels ready and is ready for this event and this battle, and soon he would realize he is when he gets sneak attacked by a demon early on. He would slice through the demon like butter, and it feels just reactive to him at this point. It seems as if his training and everything is truly paid off, and yes, he does have a little bit of hesitation in terms of fear of a demon, but his interaction with the temple demon earlier on and being able to kill him was something that allows him now to mentally be ready for demons. He's able to take on these other demons relatively easily. That's until he hears screaming not too far from where he's currently at. He would head to the screaming, and he would head to see what's going on, and when he would get there, he would see a guy or a kid crawling away, crying and screaming for help as he's running away from a demon known as the Hand Demon. Now, the Hand Demon would begin to mock Tanjiro, telling him that he's killed so many with those same earrings that he currently has on right now. He's telling him that he will be in a long list of people that basically die while wearing those earrings, in which Tanjiro would hear this and, well, let's just say it would absolutely break his heart and absolutely connect all the dots in his mind. And all those dots in his mind would be connected through the idea of Makomo and Sabito, and even to the largest degree, Giyu Tomioka. It would be extremely sad to even think about, but this version of Tanjiro is nothing to be messed with. Actually, you can go as far as to say that he is so far beyond this demon, he just doesn't realize it just yet. That's until Tanjiro begins to close the distance on the demon, running up his arms, and immediately begins to spin. He begins to spin, twisting his upper body in a circular motion, releasing a 360-degree slash as he utilized his second form of sun breathing, clear blue sky. And in one foul swoop, he slices through the demon's thick skin like butter, cutting his head off almost instantly, and the demon would fall victim to Tanjiro's sun breathing as he's shocked, as he sees everything that occurs and begins to think to himself that he's never seen a breathing style like that. He's never seen a technique, never seen swordsmanship like that. But there's something deep within his mind that begins to make him fear. Something deep within his mind that makes him see things that he never wanted to see. It's as if he's seeing flashes of a ghost that he's never fought, but someone else has. He can feel the fear deep within his mind and his body, and it's as if his body is reacting to that fear, and that fear is Muzan's fear. And as his body would disintegrate, the demon would be shocked and would be put off-kiltered entirely, looking at this monster that stands in front of him. Whoever this is, he's someone that they should fear for sure. The demon would disappear into the wind, and everybody seemingly would be somewhat safe. Now, I say somewhat safe because obviously that is pretty traumatizing overall, watching a demon get not only murdered in front of you, but also a demon that was straight up about to murder you, and that is definitely something that is terrifying. But Tanjiro would continue going throughout this entire forest, clearing it out. He would easily be able to defeat demon after demon, demon after demon, and as he clears it out, it seems like the entirety of the area and the place becomes a lot more peaceful, as if the demons have run out and there's really nothing else that can be determined and nothing else that needs to be handled at this moment. Tanjiro would sit and relax for the coming days, and he would even meet some of the other demon slayers, even meeting someone by the name of Kanao, who would not actually respond to him at all, like flat out at all. He's met obviously some interesting people as well, being that of a yellow-haired kid by the name of Zenitsu, and he continues to meet some of these people, and he continues to learn where they come from and also who they are. Now, a lot of them were terrified or are terrified, but since Tanjiro handled basically everything, they kind of got an easy path to, the sanctuary of being a demon slayer, if you really want to call it that. Now, after the week is over and everybody is actually passed on through, yes, there are a couple people that definitely ended up dying here, but for the most part, most people passed, quote unquote, and eventually would get their Nichi ring or the ability to utilize their blade. Tanjiro, already having one from his father, doesn't even need an ore, so he decides that he's just going to utilize the blade he's been using and will get it, fixed up to a large degree, in which he does send it off to get fixed up before his first and, his next pathway into being a true demon slayer. But before sending it off, he does meet with Urokodaki and Nezuko once again, as everybody is excited and happy, and everybody is go-lucky at the fact that Tanjiro not only survived, but he is thriving. And it seems like the awakening of Nezuko has even brought in a new found just motivation for Tanjiro as well to continue on this path and to make sure that his people that he cares about and so on are ready and willing to continue on and willing to make sure that everything will go safe and sound. But things will change drastically, especially coming up very soon, because someone is making their way to Urokodaki's place, And that's not just the swordsmiths smiths that are going to bring Tanjiro his refined sword. This is someone that Tanjiro has met very soon or very recently, and he continues to speak with Urokodaki and talks to Nezuko even though she doesn't respond back, and he even talks to the swordsmith that gave him his sword once again, and he sees that his father's sword seems to be fresh, clean, and spotless, and he's ready to take on whatever's to come as he places his blade within his sheath, and he continues to speak with Urokodaki about that he's going to see him very soon, and Urokodaki says that he hopes so as well. Tanjiro is about to leave when someone approaches him out of nowhere, and this is the same girl he, spoke to, but not really spoke to, not too long ago, by the name of Kanao. This person brings a letter, and this letter actually tells him to head to the Hashira mansion or the Butterfly Mansion as soon as possible. And that means like now, as a crow would begin to basically caw at him and tell him, chirping, saying that he needs to go there as well. And Tanjiro looks at Urokodaki, and Urokodaki nods his head, thinking that this kid seemingly has already caught the eye of many, many demon slayers, so we'll see what has to happen very soon. Tanjiro would wave his goodbyes as he would put Nezuko in her box, and it seems like they're going to have to confront this idea of, Tanjiro having Nezuko very, very, very earlier on, but Urokodaki would tell him that maybe he should hold on to that box for now. And of course, Kanao wouldn't really know what's going on, being that there is no Nezuko being revealed at this moment. And Urokodaki feels that maybe he holds on to the box and he comes visit before he heads off to, his actual missions, in which Tanjiro nods his head as he leaves the box, realizing what Urokodaki is saying, as they head off to the Hashira mansion without Nezuko at this moment. Tanjiro would head off with Kanao, and when they would arrive at the Hashira mansion, would be greeted by a couple of the Hashira. And of course, there is one person that truly wants to speak with Tanjiro, one person that is actually about to leave, so he wants to speak with him very quickly, and that would be the head and master of all of the demon slayers, known as Ubuyashiki. And he would tell Tanjiro that he's heard about him, heard that he's able to utilize something known as sun breathing, and has heard of his feats already in the final selection, and wants to welcome him personally to the Demon Slayer Corp, but also that he wants to make sure that he gets the proper training from someone that actually understands what he's utilizing, or at least some degree understands, because there might be even more information that is hidden away with, the Rengoku family. He would then reveal Rengoku, and Rengoku would introduce himself, and Tanjiro would speak with him mildly and kind of for a little bit, and they would speak about sun breathing and about what his capabilities are at this moment. And Rengoku can see that this kid is far beyond and maybe even coming close to that of a Hashira level very, very soon, and has accelerated his process into that realm quicker than most would even imagine doing so. Tanjiro would then be told that he'll be going through a couple simple and different missions that he's going to have to deal with as well when getting sent back, but they wanted to speak as soon as possible, and Rengoku wanted to make acquaintance with him as soon as possible because this felt like an important matter. They tell him that his earlier on missions that was going to be dealt with, one that he actually knew of being that of a small village needing help and missing women, was handled by a demon slayer that they personally chose to not worry about it. They would then tell him that they'll be sending him back to Urokodaki very, very soon, but they want to see what his capabilities are with sun breathing in its totality at this moment. So a spar with Rengoku and Tanjiro would then ensue, and it's obvious Rengoku has massive advantage over Tanjiro, but this technique and these techniques that Tanjiro begins to show and reveal are something that everybody is put back on and completely shocked by. At the end of the day, the utilization of sun breathing alone is impressive, but the fact that he's already accelerated to multiple forms of sun breathing is something that they were not expecting. And frankly, his skill is very, very close to the level of some of these other Hashira. Now he just needs the experience, and now he just needs the extra bit of training. Once he gets that, he might even be on the level of a Hashira, if not even further than that. Now, they don't tell him everything that they said or that they're thinking, because they don't want him to get a big head or anything, but we all know Tanjiro, he would never get a big head by any means. But at the end of the day, they don't really know that to be 100% of certainty, but they would send Tanjiro away, telling him that they will speak very, very soon, and that he's very impressive, and they expect to see him, well, sooner than you could possibly imagine. So Tanjiro would head off to his next mission, and his first mission truly as a demon slayer, to a city that is, well, let's just say, very, very familiar with its nightlife, and a city that somewhat never sleeps. And this is where he'll be facing his first true mission. His first true mission after he picks up Nezuko from Urokodaki, and after he leaves, this trail that leads him to the city that never sleeps will be something of insane proportion, because his first mission will put him face to face with the one, the only Muzan Kibutsushi. The one that is the king of all demons, and the one that killed his family. But for now, that's where we're going to be ending off part 1 of What If Tanjiro Had Sun Breathing from the start. And if you enjoyed, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And if you want to see part 2 ASAP, or, well, tomorrow, because that's most likely when it would come out, show some love to the video. Make sure you're blowing up these videos if you want to see the next part right after this. If it doesn't do like super well, I may decide, oh, let me do this video instead, or let me do this. But for the most part, like I said, I want to make these about 3 parts. The first part of this What If, obviously, I didn't get extremely far, but expect part 2 to get through a lot of the story, because at the end of the day, things starts really speeding up as we go along in Demon Slayer. That's just how Demon Slayer is framed and set up. So expect things to start speeding up in part 2 and part 3, and then you'll have the entirety of this series done and dusted. With that said, though, if you enjoyed, like I said, show some love, and yeah, that's all I got to say. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope y'all have an amazing day. Later.